with our recruiting campaign starting in July, this is timely because I love her presentations. For those who don't know Judy Cozzens is a lifelong educator, author with a mother, grandmother, and dedicated Catholic leader whose life has been centered on faith, family, and service. She and her husband, Jack, have raised three children, one that happens to be Bishop Cozzens. I always have to say that. And continue to actively serve the communities and church in a variety of ways. Today, Judy enjoys being a grandmother to 9 grandchildren and great-grandmother to 4 great-grandchildren. Judy spent her career as an educator teaching students from kindergarten through 12th grade in Jefferson County, Colorado. Her excellence in education was recognized through numerous honors, including the Governor's Award for Excellence and recognition as a runner-up for Colorado Teacher of the Year. She also directed the writing of 15 books, including Kids Explore America's Catholic Heritage and Teen Prayers by Teens, published by Paulina Media. For more than 2 decades, Judy and Jack have dedicated themselves to serving the church through Serra, parish life, pro-life initiatives, and net ministries. As net volunteers, they faithfully served by supporting annual training programs for many, many years. As Serran of 24 years, Judy has had numerous leadership roles, including serving as president of the United States Council of Serra International. She has helped lead and develop several national Serra initiatives focused on fostering and supporting vocations, including vocation, activity, resources, efforts to strengthen the faith of Catholic college students, and the development of a national prayer initiative connecting diocese vocation directors with dedicated Serra prayer teams. Finally, Judy's life reflects a deep commitment to supporting vocations, strengthening Catholic faith, and encouraging others to answer God's call with generosity and joy. And with that impressive background, it is a joy and an honor to introduce to those that don't know her, my friend and mentor, Judy Cozzens. Judy?
Yes. Lou, would I be able to share a screen?
Should be able to.
I'm going to hit share now and see what comes up. Okay, it looks like it's going to work. Let me find my, this is entire screen because I'm looking for my, okay, select a window. Well, I'm going to go with this one and then I'm going to hit my PowerPoint and see what happens. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Okay, I'll go back. Okay. I need to get to my PowerPoint. Oh, here we go. I think you're going to be able to see it now. Yes?
Yeah, something's trying to get on. Yeah.
Yes. We can.
Yes.
You can see it now?
Yes.
Okay, good. You know, I just think being a Serran is probably one of the best things anybody could do. You know, and I love this prayer adapted from Cardinal Newman, and I'd just like to say it with you if you would just follow along. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. God has created me to do him some definite service. He has committed some work to me which he has not committed to another. I have my mission. Please, Lord, help me be a faithful Serran and support and encourage many religious vocations to serve in the future. And I just believe that we as Serrans have such an important mission, and it's something that we need to share. You know, why Serra? Bishop Andrew, he was ordained a priest in 1977 or 1997, excuse me. It was 97, excuse me. I was wrong on that date. And anyway, I was retiring from teaching in 1999, and the question I asked Drew, which I call him Drew, I said, how should I be serving the church? And he said, Mom, hands down, you need to be a Serran. It's one of the most important ministries in the church because you love the Eucharist, you love the sacraments, and we need priests to bring it to us. And so that was always when I retired, I thought I'm going to work on, being a Serran. So many beautiful things have happened just recently. As Serra, we were a sponsor and hosted 50 booths of religious orders at the Eucharistic Revival in 2024. And one of the beautiful things that's going to happen is in 2029, there will be another Eucharistic Revival, and Serra will be there. We're already working on how that's going to happen. And I want to share with you, why people ask, why are we going to be involved in the Eucharistic Revival? There was one priest, and the Crookston people from the Diocese of Crookston, where my son served, would always stop us and say, "Oh, Mrs. Cozzens, can we have a picture with our family?" And so I go over and I get my picture taken, and there's a priest standing off across the hall. And so he comes up to me and he says, I have been struggling with my priesthood, and I came to this event, and I'm going home refreshed, and I know I should be doing what I do. And I thought, what a beautiful thing. Another unusual situation was that one priest in a diocese had already submitted his papers to be laicized. And somehow he ended up in Indianapolis for this Eucharistic Revival. He spent those days there and went home and withdrew his papers. Great things happen, but we do need, even as Serrans, to constantly work to reinforce the vocations we have. When the bishops came out for that final procession at the Eucharistic Revival, many of them cried because they had not ever received such confirmation of their good work. And so EWTN has reported on some of the things that have happened from the revival. It increased adoration, increased confessions. More Catholics feel more willing to share their faith, and 70% of the clergy emphasize the Eucharist more in their teaching. So just beautiful things. Now, how does this go to Serra? Well, the revival encouraged us to invite and inspire. And that's what we should be doing for Serra. We all have family members or friends away from the church. Pray for someone to bring back our loved ones. Work to bring someone else's loved ones back. And then go to the next step. Because that revival, the youth have learned the beauty of the Eucharist, and seminaries are now welcoming young men that heard the call at the revival. It was interesting because I was at a recent Serra rally down in St. Louis. Please go to the next Serra rally. It helps you so much to learn about the beauty of Serra. But this priest came in and he said, "Oh, Mrs. Cozzens, I should actually write a letter to your son, but I'm going to tell you this." He said, I run a parish in Ohio, and no one from our parish went to the revival. But the pilgrimage came through our parish. And the night of the pilgrimage, we did adoration all night with the Blessed Monstrance that was being carried into Indianapolis. And he said, after that, my parish started 24/7 adoration. And it came from the parish, not from me. And they changed everything. Well, guess what's going to happen? We're going to get more priests out of that diocese. And I want to mention to you guys in Philadelphia that, the Eucharistic pilgrimage that started down in St. Augustine, Florida, is going all the way up the East Coast. And where does it end? In Philadelphia on July 4th for the celebration of our country's thing. So please go out to welcome those pilgrimage. One of the things that's happened recently, many of you saw an increase in people entering your church this year. My parish welcomed 39 new Catholics, and 4 of them were high school boys who play together on a football team. I mean, we can't make these stories up. They came and joined the church. Many young people in their 20s are joining. And a recent member said to me, let me go back one for a second. A recent member said to me, "You know why I'm joining, Serra? There are more people coming into the Catholic Church, and we need more people to serve them." And so I want you to really think about that. I think everybody recognizes that we are increasing the number of people. And I want to tell you a little family story. This is my 4-year-old granddaughter, and she's the youngest of 7, and she was in the back seat of the car. And I dropped the other 6 kids off at school, and she's sitting in the back seat in her car seat, and she asked me this question. She said, Grandma, how are we going to dance in heaven? And I thought, yes, she got the message. Grandma's message is the most important thing is that we're going to dance together in heaven. Who's going to bring to the Eucharist in the future? And I look at my grandkids and I know I must be a Serran. And when you're talking to other grandparents or parents, how can they not want to be a Serran? Because this is our future, folks. We are trying to get our kids to heaven, and we need that. I know that in 1965 to 2025, the number of priests fell 40%, and the population grew 50%. The number of religious brothers and sisters declined about 75%. And in 2025, we had 4.3 million persons who were adult converts to the Catholic faith. Think about that. We had 4.3 million persons in the world who were adult converts to the Catholic faith. And so that's up from 50% from past years. Good things are happening, but we need the clergy and the religious to serve them. I just like the idea that Serra now more than ever. Serra now more than ever. Our church is growing. Our religious vocations are needed. What will I do about it? I will be a Serran. We will make things happen. Different things happen. Invite your faithful friends to Serra. Encourage them to work for priests, deacons, and religious to serve their family and friends in the future. And keep the faith and be ready to tell those you meet about the joys of being a Catholic Christian and a Serran. I just want to share some of the great joys of being a Serran. I adopted a seminarian 7 years ago, and I was invited to his ordination and his first Mass. Serra gives me an opportunity to work for the future of the church. And it helps me develop a good relationship with the clergy, religious, and faithful Catholics. I bet each one of you, through your Serra work, has had a more personal relationship with our clergy. And that's so important for them too. There's such easy projects we can do, and they're not hard. We just have to do them. Deliver holy cards to your religious education classes in Catholic schools. These beautiful holy cards are very inexpensive, and they come out from Vienna Vocations. Our club orders 25,000 of them at a time, and we pass them out, and we work on it. And we have Catholic schools now on Thursday who say the vocation prayer on the back of it. What a beautiful thing. The challenge coin. How many challenge coins have you handed out? I just challenge you to order a box for yourself. It's a free giveaway token to help the priest initiate the conversation. Sometimes it's hard for the priest just to come up and say to the young man, you'd make a good priest because I see the way you serve Mass so devoutly. But if he has this challenge coin, he can say, I have something special for you today. I want you to take this coin. And I just know I do recognize good things in you and how you would, with your ability to encourage others in their faith, you'd make a good priest. And that coin can be kept as a keychain or in a kid's pocket and have him think. And even if he just lays it on his dresser at home, it may help him think about a future vocation. The most effective tool for the promotion of vocations is a direct and personal invitation from a priest. So we know this is important. So what are we doing? How are we helping the priest invite people? And these invites are so important. Cardinal Collins says the influence of being asked by a priest was the most for 45 out of 50 seminarians. So if I give that coin to my priest and he shares it with the seminarian, what a beautiful gift. And we also have them for sisters now. And, the challenge card to Father reads, Father, please present a challenge coin to any young man you believe worthy of becoming a priest. He can affix it to his keychain to serve as a constant reminder of your unwavering support and faithful gratitude. What a beautiful thing to share. And it's easy. And here's what the coin looks like. But like I said, we now have them for sisters also, and I didn't have them available for this presentation.
Hello.
To adopt a seminarian, just is such a beautiful thing. Encouraging notes during the school year, cookies to the seminary, a spiritual bouquet. I know of one priest who's a priest today who said he was packing his bags to go home from the seminary. He was discouraged and he thought he would leave. And he received a wonderful letter when he went down that day, and he stayed. And he's a priest today because somebody encouraged him. You could be that Serran and encourage somebody. And what a beautiful way to do it. Now, I want to also talk to you about something else that's really important. Become a parish contact. Pick your parish or another in the area and bring supplies to them. And if it's one person or two people together, two is always good. The Lord sent us out 2 by 2. But bring those supplies for Priesthood Sunday, Vocations Awareness Week. Even if you're only becoming friends with the secretary, you are starting to build a little relationship with that parish. And you can also ask that question, who from your parish would be good to help us with Vocation F activities? And you can write thank you notes to that pastor too and thank him for the things he is doing. There are church helpers. And as Serrans, we are church helpers. We encourage our priests with specific compliments. I have a friend and she was always cute. She'd always say to the priest, "Oh, good sermon, Father." And Father one day said to my friend, "What did you like about it?" And she said, "I changed how I complimented the priest. I started saying, Father, I really liked how you had 3 good points in your sermon about going to church on Sunday, praying every day, and trying to grow in your faith." And she would share those things with him, and that was wonderful. The other thing is our young families in the church sometimes feel like the old people or the older people in the parish are making faces at them because the kids make noise. After church, one of the things I always do is if I see a young family and it's been a loud Sunday, I just said, thank you so much for bringing the kids to church. If a church is not crying, it's dying. We're glad you're here. And just laugh about it a little bit and say, Bishop Andrew wasn't the best kid in the pew, but look at him today. So just share a few little things with people. Be aware of people by themselves and talk to them. We need to keep reaching out. And that person that's sitting all by themselves at parish might be the best Serran and love being in a friend group. So it's wonderful. Serra makes a difference. I want to tell you about a parish. With Serra help, one parish started a vocation ministry, and that was started about 10 years ago. They started saying the vocation prayer. They had a traveling chalice to go home with families to pray for vocations, and they had the crucifix in the Catholic school, and they conducted different vocation activities. Today, that parish has 7 men in the seminary and 2 women in formation for religious life. Now, that just didn't happen overnight, but 10 years later, look at the fruit. So I want to say to you, even if you just get your club gets 1 parish this year to start a parish vocation ministry and work on it, you can change your seminary enrollment, that parish. And this parish now has 7 men and ready coming out. Actually, 1 was ordained this year, so it may only be 6 right at this time until the fall. Pick a parish. What makes it the right parish? Well, first of all, the priest better be joyful about his vocation. So if I'm going to work this hard for something, I want to pick the right parish. A joyful priest and one who thinks he would like to promote vocations. Families with children, and they're willing to start the vocation ministry. And sometimes one of your Serrans or the people in that parish will become Serrans and learn about using Serra Spark and how to start that vocation ministry. There's so much help out there for them. And if they get it started, their future will change. Okay, I just try to go as quickly as I can through some ideas because one of the best things I ever did was to become a Serran. You know, I've had lots of awards for things in my past life. I've done all sorts of things, but I don't think any of them are as important as my being a Serran and working for the future of our church. I think it's the most important thing I can do today. And my prayers, my notes, my encouragement may change the future of our church. And maybe because I've been a Serran, there might be 2 more priests serving at the altar, there to anoint me near death and to bring my grandchildren and children the sacraments. What a beautiful thing. And, you know, we just look at this and I know that it's probably the most important thing I do in helping my church. So I hope that you will encourage others to join our ministry because it's so rewarding. And when they connect themselves, that Adopt a Seminarian program, I think, is so beautiful because it helps the person, the new Serran, realize, oh, I can encourage this young man. I can send a $20 bill occasionally. I can drop cookies off at the seminary. I can do things, and I make a friend and I give encouragement. And even if the person doesn't become a priest in the end, he's going to be a good, faithful Catholic to serve in our world. So the seminary experience is always wonderful. And I've had before, one of my adopted seminarians did not go on to become a priest, but that didn't mean I stopped praying for him because he's still an important young man that's going to serve our church. And so realize that my work with Serra, it really serves to make our church stronger for the future. And what could be more important than that? What could be more important than my grandkids and my great-grandkids receiving the sacraments, having someone there for their first communion, their first confession, their marriages? All of this is so important. And our church right now is experiencing a revival. Therefore, how am I going to help that revival? I'm going to encourage more religious vocations. Okay, I'd love to take any questions you have. You know, I sometimes talk too fast. I'm sorry.
No, Jude, I love listening to you, and you're such a spark, not to borrow that term, to all of us. I think we're all passionate about Serra. There are many organizations in the Catholic ministries and Knights in Columbus, what have you. But Serra, to me, and I say this to everybody, is so focused and is for Catholic men and women and no age limits. And at the end of the day, it's all religious vocations. But at the end of the day, there is a focus on the seminarians and the priests, because without them, we don't have the Eucharist. And when we don't have the Eucharist, we don't have a Mass. What do we have? Mm-hmm. And I remember in 2017, and you were there at our convention at the Vatican with our dear friend Pope Francis when he addressed our private audience. And he made it clear, and John has this on our Serra magazine, that to be a Serran is to be a special friend to the priests. And in so many words, that was his message. It's so true. We do get close to our clergy, and that's why we enjoy the annual Cathedral Mass, the newly ordained in November, and the luncheon, because we get to hear these new men of God sit up there and share. We always have 35, 40 high school graduating Catholic students listen and meet these new priests, and they find out that how their road to the priesthood was always fascinating. Mm-hmm. But Serra, I agree. We make a direct impact in supporting our priests and future. You mentioned we're going to have to get into the challenge coin and hand them out. That's a good program. So I just wanted to thank you, and I'm passionate about Serra and trying to make it easy. We get the word out. We're the best kept secret. I say that respectfully. And we're thinking of ideas. We're positioned, I think. We're one of the oldest Serra club, and I think the organization, this was founded in 1952, Philadelphia.
And 39 we started, but 52 is very early.
Very early in Philadelphia. And now, we've recruited Matt McCluskey's family members, Ryan Neff and his brother Keenan, and they're now on the board. And we want to groom these young professional Catholics to step in leadership roles so that we can step aside and let them run with it. So your testimonial is great. Anybody else have any comments, questions for Judy? I always, take over the time.
I just say it was excellent, Judy. You're so good. I wish I could be like you.
Well, you're going to do just well. I'm so excited. Candace is going to be our new president of our United States Consul, and that's just a wonderful thing because she's very enthusiastic and will give us great leadership.
Thank you. I'm president-elect for 2 years and then president. But Judy's so right. It lifts up the seminarians when we send them Easter cards, Christmas cards, or thinking about you. They need that. I just texted a young priest that he was in a depression at one parish and they moved him to another parish. So I tried to keep up with him and I sent him a birthday card and he responded back. He said, Candace, I just arrived at Steubenville for a retreat. And I was thanking him for his note, taking time to send a thank you note back. But I just think it means a lot to these young seminarians to keep them lifted up by cards or just keeping in touch. They know others are thinking about them and praying for them. And I love what you said, Judy. I wrote it down about in church when we hear people get annoyed with children crying. And our priest said he loves to hear that. And I love what you said. If a church is not crying, it's dying. I love that. So, and then the challenge coins, those are so important to give your priest because they don't have a lot of money. So they appreciate it, even as a gift for their birthday or anything. Just give them those coins. I know we give them to the vice rector at the seminary and he goes, I'm out of coins, Candace. So, anyway, it's just your talk was wonderful, everything about it. And your little granddaughter is so cute. So cute. Oh my gosh.
That's about the age she was when she asked, how are we going to dance together in heaven?
What's her name?
Her name is Shannon. She's off to the University of Boston University in Boston this fall. And one of the great things about that school, they have Focus. And they also have a women's group that meets every Saturday morning. And Shannon's delightful, and she's done Exodus 90. And she said, I'm going to continue going to Mass an extra time a week, and I'll join that women's group, Grandma. I said, yes.
Beautiful. And one question, Judy, we're all wondering. So when is the Eucharistic Congress going to be?
It's going to be in 29, and we don't know where. And I said, Drew, come on. Can't you tell me, please? And he said, Mom, if I tell you, it's over.
Do we know what
will be announced this fall. He said sometime this fall they will be announcing it. And Houston, I think, was considered. And I know I found out they went to St. Louis, but not from him. I was visiting down in St. Louis, and his sister said the Eucharistic Revival Committee was through here looking at the place.
So, oh, wow.
But
in St. Louis.
Yes. And so I don't know. I think that was it. And I think they visited Houston too, because I heard a rumor. But that's all.
Oh,
nothing.
I teased you. I teased you in my email.
Yes, you teased me in my email, but I thought it might be more true than she thinks.
Judy, is there somebody we can contact as to the Eucharistic pilgrimage that's going to end up in Philadelphia? Maybe Father English will know the details, but definitely we want to promote that to our members.
Yeah, it's July 5th. There's a mass at the cathedral.
Okay.
And from there, we're the Eucharistic procession from the cathedral to the church where St. John Newman is, and that's where we'll have our final reposition and benediction. And the seminarians will be there, along with a lot of priests.
We want to make sure as many Serra Philadelphia presence will be there and support anything we can do. Father English, that's great, right in our backyard.
I think we might even try to get the word out to other Serrans in around the area because they might want to come.
Right. Well, that's the beauty of the Serra Club of Philadelphia also, especially, every negative has a positive. The negative of the COVID, we brought the Zoom, and Zoom's allowed us to reach out. There's no borders, as I say. We
Right.
have members Danes in Ohio, we have members in Fort Lauderdale, etc. And the Archdiocese, there's several other clubs. One just folded up, but we can reach out pretty.
Mm-hmm.
There's no boundaries. And I like we've talked about picking a parish. And, maybe we'll start with each of our board members and members, pick a parish, adopt that parish, and focus on getting the Serra name out there to support and recruit new members. That's a good idea.
As you bring things in for the different, vocation days of the year, you just start to get a little bit of feel about that parish, and maybe you go to daily mass there as you're dropping it off, and start looking around, and then it won't be long and we'll get a Serran out of there or two.
I see the secret behind producing priests and bishops between you and Bishop Coffey's parents. Dr. Coffey and his wife are devout Serrans in Philadelphia, I hear. And if you listen to Bishop Coffey's presentation, which we have on the website, unrehearsed, he started talking what a strong impact the Serra Club had on him growing up, because of his parents made him say the Serra vocation prayer at dinner every night. And now you produce Bishop Cozzens. So Serra got some power here.
It did. And when he was in the seminary, a Serra Club adopted him in St. Paul, Minnesota. And it was always, very supportive of him. And he loved that. So that's true, was something important for him.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. The other thing is, I don't know if anybody knows Joe Taphorn. He was out of Omaha, and he's the rector of our seminary here in St. Paul now. And Joe Taphorn says, I remember saying the Serran prayer at our school masses, and I would say to myself, not me, Lord, I'm going to be a firefighter. And today he's a Catholic priest.
There you go. The Lord had different plans.
Yeah. So I just think the parishes we get that will pray for vocations, which that parish that has those 7 seminarians, they do that. We have about 3 parishes in our diocese now that have more than 4 seminarians in them. So, and those are parishes that have vocation ministries.
Yeah.
It pays off.
We want to get those leaders as members.
Yeah.
You pay for their dues because we can support them and know the programs and websites we have.
Right.
Their work.
They use Serra Spark.
Have not handed out cookies, but our secret weapon is a Philadelphia cheesesteak to the seminarians.
Right. Yes.
Well, the English is a witness. We have it's a wonderful time. We treat the seminarians to the classic Philadelphia cheesesteak dinner at the seminary. And it's wonderful. These guys have big appetites, and we get to know them, and vice versa. But we'll have to look at the cookies thing. So this is wonderful. Anybody else have any comments, questions for Judy?
This is Lou. I'm just going to make a small addition, and I like this very much, and I encourage our members and even friends to, we spend so much time scrolling through whatever every day. Set aside 15 minutes or more to go through the links in the Serra websites. Mm-hmm. There's so much as far as ideas, booklets, material. It's there and it's free, and just walk through it and punch in ideas to your brain and let it mold there for a while, and it's just wonderful material. And you got to let a few months go by to see things updated, but do it a few times a year, and you see so much material and so many ideas and so many things. Well, wow, that's so easy. I could do that tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And anyway, that's my advice. That's the only thing I add to the presentation and the discussion. Thanks.
Excellent.
True.
So true.
I see Arthur's back on again. Arthur, do you as our district governor, do you have any comments?
Well, it was an excellent presentation. We certainly thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you, Arthur.
Yeah, yeah, love Judy. We won't wait 3 years. We'll have you back again, Judy.
I want to say one other thing, if you don't mind. Judy, when we were at the Augustine Institute in St. Louis recently for the Serra rally, did any of you go to it?
Scheduled to go, but I had a medical situation with the family and missed that nice snowstorm out there.
Oh, it was amazing. Oh my gosh. The building, it used to be owned by Boeing Aircraft. And so now it's, the Augustine Institute bought it from Boeing, but it's where you eat, it's like the front of the plane. It's built like that,
Right.
but everything's all there. So I immediately, when I found out I was president-elect, I went to Suzanne and Marvin and said, let's secure that when I'm president. So we have it for 2029. So put it on your calendar.
Excellent.
So we're going to go back there in 2029 in January, the end of January.
And
It is absolutely phenomenal and one of the most beautiful places. And that you have your hotel room, beautiful hotel room right on the same plant, and everything is there. It's gorgeous. Go.
And the food is excellent.
Yes.
It's all gorgeous. The chapel's beautiful.
do it every year. And Madam President, please get us back to the Vatican.
Yeah.
I think you'll get a lot of members. That's a special convention out there. So hopefully we'll get back to the Vatican soon. So
Next year we're going.
Yeah, that's confirmed.
Yeah, Serra International Convention in Rome.
Excellent.
Oh,
20
that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And then the next year, Toronto.
Okay.
Every other year, the Vatican. Good. So I know we've got Father English, our dear new chaplain, standing by. He's in an appointment, but maybe he can do the closing prayers for us, and then afterwards we'll roll. Just the board directors stay on. Is Father English still with us?
I'm here. Oh, yeah.
Would you
let us pray.
Thank you.
Oh God, you have constituted your only begotten Son, supreme and eternal priest, for the glory of your majesty and the salvation of mankind. Grant that those whom he has chosen ministers and dispensers of his mysteries may be found faithful in fulfilling the ministry they received through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Wonderful. Well, Father English, you just started your 13-year journey as a chaplain. Welcome aboard.
I appreciate it. Hopefully I'm there the whole time.
That